Who's got a bit of Mistress merchandise, by the way? As that great saying goes, press on. It just feels so refreshing to be looking at electrical gear again. So I've worked out a little spot for this water filter. Just when you thought it was done, no. And so first up, what I need to do is actually get some holes drilled. And then it needs to arrive here where the house battery will be. Well, it's philosophical moment. If you're not interested in a bit of a chat, jump forward to this time. What I wanted to talk about is I've had a few things go on in my life over the last few months, and this sort of stuff happens to all of us. I'm not going to go into the details, and I really don't need to, because it's the principle that I want to just have a very quick chat about. Quick drink first. Who's got a bit of Mistress merchandise, by the way? That's just bubbly water. I know that a lot of people will be looking at my project and thinking, God, he's so slow. Why can't we just see the thing finished? Well, there's lots of reasons for that. And clearly, if you're looking at me, a one-man show, and the magnitude of what I'm doing, and are thinking, oh, I would have had it finished by now. Well, you know, maybe. Yes, I'm putting myself out there with my journey here with Mistress, and I'm sure there's people tuning in for lots of different reasons. But look, the thing is, in order to do something significant in life, I've actually been thinking recently that the effort and the trials and tribulations that I've been going through, all in all, really are not so much issues with actually doing the building work. That I feel very comfortable with, and I'm pretty pleased with the way that things have been going. I think, actually, the big message of what I'm doing, including having this YouTube channel, is to show people the challenges of life, like all of them, and persisting and not giving up and just pressing on with everything, not only whatever project you might be working on, whether it's getting better education, whether it's undertaking an apprenticeship, whether it's trying to get a promotion in whatever career you're in, whether you too are doing some sort of boat project or car project or house project. The thing is, you've got to try and do that and get everything else done in life. And so in order to finish this project, what's required of me is not only whether I can do the boat work, it's whether I can do that and complete this project with all the other trials and tribulations of life. Family matters, health matters, financial matters, weather matters. There is a long list of matters that we all need to be doing and contending with. So I want to encourage everybody, if you're undertaking a project or you're working your way through your life, facing your personalised trials, tribulations and struggles, you just got to keep going. Even if it's slow progress, even if you need to stop and take a pause every now and again, just keep going. As that great saying goes, press on. The real story and testament is the fact that I'm going to be able to show that I did this whilst contending with all the other struggles, ups and downs, curveballs, and everything else that life throws at us. Oh, how nice it is to be getting back and doing more electrical work. It's time to start laying out cable actually, but of course, in the first instance, I need to work out exactly how I'm going to and where I'm going to run that cable. So it's great. Oh, it just feels so refreshing to be looking at electrical gear again. So I've just put a few things out like lights in the areas where they need to go, and I'm just brushing up on where I was up to last time. But the main thing is to work out where all of that conductor, the cable, is going to be going. So I'm just going to do a bit of a double check on the loads to make sure that the cable that I'm going to be putting in place is correct. And then I can work out from the nav area where the main feeds to areas are going to run. So I've worked out a little spot for this water filter in that galley cabinet. And so what I need to do is make a bracket to be able to bolt this to the cabinet so that it A, won't go anywhere, and B, so that it'll be able to be serviceable by unscrewing the canister to replace the filters. What I'm going to do, I've got this 316 plate here. I've just marked off the length for that. Also a line where I'll actually bend that up at 90 degrees. 2 holes where it will go into the cabinet, and I'll bolt that. And then 4 screws for the top of that filter. And I don't think that will go anywhere. This is actually 2mm 316 plate, so that will be very stiff once it's all bolted together. Well, I'm pretty happy with the way this bracket has come up for the water filter, and so the plan ahead with what I'm going to have and where in this cabinet, this filter will go pretty much next to the main pressure pump there. That mains pressure water will come out. I've got a T-piece to direct water directly to the sink tap on the mixer tap, and then I've got the other one that'll go into the filter. I will be having, as I've explained, pressurised salt water. So there's plenty of room on both of these panels here for me to get a pressure pump there. I will be having hot water also, but that's actually going to be down the track. I haven't really decided exactly how I'm going to heat water. Regardless, like I say, I've got plenty of room on these panels, and in fact, on the other side of this panel, there is mobs of room. I can fit a lot of stuff in that side, even a hot water system, if that's what I decide to do. So now I'll just fit this bracket. Well, this is the last dry fit before I can actually get this top in place for good. Because the sinks are actually quite close to the back there, there's not a lot of room between that bulkhead and the back of the sinks where those fittings are. So as you can imagine, trying to actually get under there blind with a hand, trying to screw things on, well, forget about getting a spanner on there as well for that matter. So I need to get these fitted in place, then drop the sink down, then I can do the last connections from the flex hose to where the supply is, and then finally put that drainage hose in because I won't need to take the sink out anymore. And so the last thing to do is to just mark out where these taps actually sit on the bench. And what I'll do is just give the bench a wee little sand and then put some Fix 15, just a very thin layer between the bottom of the tap and the bench, just so that that gets sealed from any water wanting to drain down. But just to say again, these holes have all had 3 coats of epoxy, which means there won't be any issue with water going down there, but all the same, being a sink, obviously there's going to be water there and you don't want it dripping down onto the cabinet shelf. A bit more fiddly work there, as you saw. Nothing's easy, right? Eventually though, that came up quite well. I wasn't sure how I was going to solve that. Being marine fittings, trying to get things to actually fit in with getting all the other side of it done, in other words, this flex hose, not so easy with the old marine. For example, you go to a marine store and you buy a tap, and yes, it had a small nut for the back here, but it had no washers, and the actual size of that tap fitting doesn't fit any other regular stuff that you need to buy to connect it to water. So, always a problem to solve, people. I have though, and this flex hose is fantastic. Another great thing about it is that they don't need to be done up super tight because, as you can see, they've actually got an O-ring seal there, and the instructions say turn that nut up hand tight and then just half a turn with a spanner to nip it up tight and seal it. That's all I need to do now. Connect these flex hoses to the fittings. There's actually 2 sizes here, and the reason for that is to just accommodate getting it fitted into the cabinet. It's been quite a long road getting these sinks and taps all in place, but we're there, thankfully. This is the last piece of the puzzle. And just to mention also, somebody had mentioned to me quite some time ago about insulating the bottom of the sinks so that condensation, when it comes, it won't just be sitting on the bottom of the sinks with the salt air causing it to rust. They are stainless steel, but over many, many years, they can rust in the salt air. So I'm going to look into what I could actually glue onto the bottom of these, just to displace that moisture from contacting and hanging off the bottom of them. I can fit something once they're in place, so I'll leave that for now. Just when you thought it was done, no. Two things, would you believe? I forgot to drill the hole for the vent pipe to come up through the bench top. Also, there is another little job to do, which I could do with the top in place, but it makes it easier when the top's off, so I'll do that at the same time. And that is the attachment to send the water under the bilges to the heads. Well, my oh my people, I am happy. I have had a good few days of chasing up some electrical information and gear and terminals and cable. Oh man, I'm loving this information. I've got a whole bunch of cable, I got more conduit. Oh, it's good. And so first up, what I need to do is actually get some holes drilled through some hull floors. There's actually 6. There will be 2 through this side, 1 through this side, and then 1, 2, and then through that corner 3. So 3 running this way, 2 running that way, but 1 continues through to supply power for this starboard side. And another little win yesterday, I got a hold of some 316 grade tube, which will be the breather hose for the venting of the water tanks. So I was pretty pleased. I was able to buy just that short piece from my good stainless steel mob. I'll get that hole drilled to the right size now that I know the right size that this is, and then get a couple of coats of epoxy on it. That'll be another job done. Another hole I need to sort out is for the electrical cables through one of these cabinets. That cable from the house batteries to the nav station is going to go in the bilge through the whole floors, and then it'll pop up in this galley cabinet, and then it needs to arrive here where the house battery will be. So what I'll do is put a hole up the top here in this cabinet so I can get epoxy coats on that while I'm epoxy coating the vent hole. In the next episode, now I'm ready to start laying the conduit and the cable. Could I ask you a quick favour request for watching my video? To like, subscribe, click that bell and share it. I'd really appreciate that.